right, let me ask you something. You're running late for work, and this crazy thought pops into your head. What if I just called in sick instead? It sounds totally backward, right? But it's a really fascinating workplace puzzle, and the answer tells you a surprising amount about the systems a lot of us work in every day. So let's really paint the picture here. You've overslept, traffic is a nightmare, you know for a fact you're going to be at least 20 minutes late. What do? Do you race in, apologize, and take the hit? Or do you just pull over, call the office, say you're sick for the whole day, and turn back around? It sounds nuts, but in many rigid workplaces, that second choice is, believe it or not, the smarter move. Let's break down exactly why. So to really get why this makes any sense, you gotta start with the rules on paper. The official black and white policies. This is where the whole weird logic begins.
And it's kind of wild how differently these two things are handled. I mean, being late, that's tracked with punishing precision. We're talking down to the minute. It's instantly on the record. But calling in sick? Well, that's usually just treated as one single block for the day. And if it's just a one-off thing, you probably don't even need a doctor's note. So right away, you can see the systems are running on two totally different operating systems.
Yeah, just think about it. Every time you're late, it creates this official, permanent mark against you. It's like a little tick mark, goes into a file somewhere. And those marks, they don't just go away. They stack up, they accumulate, and they push you step by step closer to some kind of formal discipline. The system is just built to be automatic and, honestly, pretty unforgiving. But a single sick day? Oh, that's a whole different ballgame. Health problems are just seen as a legitimate excuse for being out. So unless there's some other reason to be suspicious, your boss is probably just going to say, okay, feel better, mark you out, and that's it. You get the benefit of the doubt, an assumption of legitimacy that you just do not get when you walk through that door late. Okay, so you have these two different ways of tracking things. Where does that lead? Well, it leads directly to this unforgiving system of escalating consequences. We can call it the discipline ladder. And when it comes to being late, climbing this ladder is almost like a computer program. It's so predictable. A couple of late arrivals, you get a verbal warning. A few more, now it's a memo in writing. Before you know it, it's a formal warning in your permanent file. Then suspension, and yeah, ultimately it can lead to termination. It's a clear, straightforward, and often totally unavoidable path upwards. And this is the absolute key right here. Showing up late is a guaranteed step up that ladder. The consequence is certain. There's no gray area, no benefit of the doubt. You were late, you get the mark. The end. Okay, now let's flip it. Compare that certainty to a manager trying to prove you faked being sick. Oh man, it is a massive headache for them. First, they have to prove there's a clear pattern, like you're always sick on the Friday before a long weekend. They need a mountain of paperwork, plus there are medical privacy laws that stop them from prying too much. So trying to challenge one single isolated sick day, it's next to impossible. But this isn't all just about rules and policies. There's a huge human element here too. It's all about psychology, how things are perceived, and just how we deal with our coworkers. Think about the stories we tell ourselves about these things. Being late, that here's like a personal failure, right? It suggests you can't get your act together, that you're unprofessional, maybe even that you don't respect other people's time. But being sick, that's a story of victimhood. You're the victim of a bug, of a bad headache. It's something that happened to you. It's out of your control. And because of that, it gets sympathy, not judgment. And all of that creates this very specific mindset. It's perfectly captured here. Once an employee knows they are going to be significantly late, the damage is already done. That's the moment of truth. The penalty is already locked in, the tick mark is coming, so the thought process becomes, why should I rush in and get scolded when I have another option that has zero immediate blowback? And you know what? There's a practical side for the rest of the team as well. If someone just shows up 30 or 40 minutes late, it can seriously mess up the morning's workflow. It might delay a meeting or a project kickoff. Everybody has to scramble to adjust. But if that person calls out for the whole day first thing in the morning, well, at least the team can plan around it. They can reassign tasks and just get on with their day. It's actually less disruptive. So what you have is this situation where everything, the rules, the psychology, it all funnels both the employee and, get this, even the manager toward the path of least resistance. This is where the system's own weird logic really takes over. So in a lot of workplaces, especially if there's a union, there's this really important standard called just cause. And all it really means is that management needs to have a solid, objective, and provable reason to discipline you. They can't just do it because they feel like it. And this just cause standard, it completely changes the game. Think about it. A computer record showing you were late 10 times. That's clean, objective proof. It's easy. But a manager just having a hunch that you weren't really sick, that is super flimsy, it's subjective, and it is a nightmare to try and prove in a hearing. A union will tear that argument apart. So for the employee, which one is the safer bet? The sick day, by a mile. It's the path of least resistance. Okay, now get this. Let's look at it from the manager's desk for a second. Believe it or not, the sick call is often easier for them too. If you're late, they have to log the time, they have to sit you down for a potentially awkward talk, and then they've got to fill out all the disciplinary paperwork. But a sick call, they just mark you absent for the day. Boom, done. It's less admin work for them, and it avoids a formal conversation that can hurt team morale. So that path of least resistance, it works for them too. So when you put it all together, what does it all boil down to? Really, it's a calculated but also pretty risky game. It's about an employee making a logical choice based on the weird rules they've been given. This is the calculation going on in their head. They're weighing the certainty of getting penalized. On one hand, you have being late. That's, let's say, a 95% chance of getting a small guaranteed penalty. On the other hand, you have calling in sick. That's a tiny, tiny chance of getting caught in a lie, but if you do, the penalty is huge. Faced with that decision, almost anyone is going to play the odds and take the path with the lowest immediate certainty of punishment. And this is so important to understand. This decision usually isn't about an employee being lazy or trying to pull a fast one. It's actually a pretty rational, logical response to a very rigid, bureaucratic system. They're just playing the game by the rules that are written down, not necessarily the rules we wish were in place. But, and this is a very big but, it is a super risky game to play over the long haul. Look, management isn't dumb. They see patterns. The person who's sick every other Monday, they're on the radar. Management can start demanding a doctor's note for every single absence, and if they can actually prove you're abusing the system, that can lead directly to getting fired. It is not a sustainable strategy. So it really all comes back to this one fundamental point. The system is set up to make being late a high-certainty, low-severity problem that just adds up over time. Meanwhile, it makes faking a sick day a low-certainty, high-severity problem that's really, really hard to prove. And when you frame the odds like that, the smarter choice in the moment becomes surprisingly clear. Which really leaves us with one last big question to chew on. When we build these systems of perfect, unforgiving tracking, systems that log every single minute, do we accidentally create incentives for people to find these imperfect and, honestly, less productive ways to work around them? It's definitely something to think about.